Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and today I'd like to do a discussion video, hopefully a brief one, with one basic subject, one question that I want to pose to all of you. What makes a game console good? Like, what actually defines it? And I know that the short answer a lot of people are going to throw out there is, the game's stupid, if the games are good, the game console's good. I used to feel that way too, but then I started thinking more about it. See, this right here, this is the Apple Pippin. I did a video on this somewhat recently, you can check it out. Apple's ill-fated game console, where I, of course, was thinking, oh, this thing's a piece of crap, you know, like, all the games on it suck, blah, blah, blah. But then I thought more about it. I was like, well, why does it suck? Okay, yes, the game library is terrible, but aesthetically, it looks fine. From a hardware standpoint, it's built like a tank. It has all sorts of awesome features on it, like being able to be extremely import friendly. You know, you can power it in any region with just a standard cable. The power supply will handle both 100 volts and 200 volts, 240 volts. It also supports both PAL and NTSC frequencies with a simple flick of a switch. It has onboard S-Video, VGA, composite out, had internet support, had printer support, it has buttons on top for CD playback. Like, from a hardware standpoint, it's a great machine. It's just the games suck. Does that mean it automatically is a terrible game console? I'm not here to say yes or no to that question. I'm simply trying to define it and trying to understand it better. So the other thing we have out here is the Neo Geo X. Now, the thing about the Neo Geo was that it was a great game console. It was an exciting console that had all sorts of amazing games on it. It was built really well, very reliable, and it also just had this, wow, that was really neat and crazy and just tried to be daring and bold type of experience. Like, it was that. It encompassed that. I did a video on that console in particular. If you're curious, you can check that out for more information. What you see here is not that. This is the Neo Geo X, a clone of that console. A shitty fucking piece of junk clone console. In fact, this is just an aesthetic shell. Really, it's like a handheld device that's inside here, which looks nice aesthetically, but it's extremely unreliable. It's built like a piece of shit. The video output is terrible. It has serious compatibility issues. Overall, it's awful. It's just fucking awful, even though the games on it are really good. So my point is, do the games being really good matter if you can't really use them and enjoy the experience? So I think we would probably all agree that neither of these are good examples of good game consoles, certainly not examples of great game consoles. But what does define a good or a great game console? So I think, what I'm saying is, I think it has to be a combination of a few things. It has to be, obviously, good gaming experiences. It has to be the minutia of a console. See, I'm super passionate about game consoles. I think you guys might have noticed this over time. When it comes to a game console, I like the whole thing. I think it's a package deal. It's not just the games. It's what the console looks like, how it performs, features it has or doesn't have, the history behind it, you know, all the little things, some of which you never even really notice, like, does it use controller ports? Does it use wireless? You know, is it USB? Does it have this? Does it have that? Etc. All just one big hodgepodge that I think defines a game console and makes it exciting or not. But one other thing that I think really matters with a game console, and I'm very curious to see how many of you out there actually would agree with this, is who a console is aimed at. Essentially, who it's marketed towards. You know, was it built for someone like you? Was it designed for someone of your age, your gender, your where you basically fit in, as it were? Was it aimed at someone like you, or was it aimed at someone completely different and there's no reason you should ever be touching it? Like those shitty little leapfrog things, you know what I'm talking about? I don't think any of us logically would argue that those are great game consoles, but I'm sure to some little kid, those things are amazing. So, I'll use an example here. The Nintendo Wii, a console I famously very much do not like. I think that thing was awful. I've done videos on that as well. I stand by it. I hated that game console. But one of the things I really hated about it that I didn't talk about quite as much was basically who it was aimed at. It was aimed at children, babies, and grandmothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not aimed for you as a gamer. Sure, there might have been games on it you liked, but overall, that's not who it was intended for. It was intended to be the thing that if you went over to your family's house on like some holiday or something, and you could all sit around and play it. I don't want to play games with my grandmother. Like, that does not equal, oh, that's fucking awesome, that's a good game console. Now, at the same time, my biggest issue with that thing was the controller. You know, like, yes, Super Mario Galaxy was awesome, but who gives a shit if I have to play it with a magic wand that I hate using? That's just my opinion. But that's why I didn't like that particular game console, even though aesthetically, console was fine. Hardware-wise, it was fine. Yeah, it was kind of a generation behind, but that didn't really bother me. And it was reliable, it had all that, but then it was lacking those other things. Do you see what I'm saying? Let's look at the current generation of game consoles. Now, the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Wii U. Regardless of where you stand on them, this is how I feel about them. You feel free to express how you do. But the PS4, I like that game console. It's my console of choice this generation. It's my utility vehicle. Anytime a new game comes out, if it's available for PS4, I pick it up if I want that particular game. Generally because I like the controller best. They typically perform a little better. They look a little better on the PlayStation 4, etc. With the Wii U, that's the console that I just have the most fun with. That's just the fun machine. You know, like, there's going to be exclusive, exciting experiences on there that I can only have on there. I like the concept of the gamepad, even though I've been saying for a long time they needed to get rid of it. Too late for that, but that doesn't matter. So I found that console the most, you know, fun. But then I look at the Xbox One, and I think, well, that console doesn't have either of those advantages, but one thing it does have is the marketing. That console, even though it started off like a disaster under the tail end of the Don Matrick era, under Phil Spencer, has now become the gamer's console. It really has. Those guys are trying to aim at you, the gamer. That's who they want. That's why they're doing everything they're doing, trying to appeal to that. And you have to respect moves like that. And this isn't specifically about the Xbox One. You have to respect when any game console does that. When they try to aim at you like as the demographic, the gamer. That's rare, unfortunately, with game consoles. A lot of them are, especially in recent years, have been really aimed at broadest audience possible because logically so, it brings in the most money. Theoretically, anyway. That's why things like the Wii were a huge success, because they appealed to people that were never going to buy a game console anyway. I'm very curious what you guys think about that. When I ask you the simple question, what makes a game console good, what will you answer? Will you say it's just the games? Will you say it's just the hardware reliability? Will you say it's just the aesthetic? Is it just the controller? What is it to you? Is it a package deal? Like, to me, what makes my favorite console of all time is the Dreamcast. That's not a secret at all. And one of the things that I think that was so great about it is it had the exact perfect harmonious combination. It had unbelievable games, in my opinion. It had an aesthetic I really got behind. It excited me in a lot of ways, having cool things like, oh, look, it's a controller with a screen in it. Or if you want, it's got the rumble. It's got it's got 4 controller ports. It's reliable, at least it was. I mean, the disk drives have started to fail more over time. It was aimed at gamers. It was Sega's last hope to keep their hardware division alive, was to specifically focus on games that would excite gamers, not necessarily just the mass audience. So, I'm putting this to you. What I would like everyone who's interested in doing so to do is put in the comments not only what you think actually defines it, like how you would answer that question, but also put your favorite console. If you're like, I think it's just the games, and I think the PS2 is the best game console ever because this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, we're all on it. That's the only reason I think that. That's fine. I'm almost doing this as like a survey, as a poll, for my own curiosity. What do you think makes a game console good? And which one would you say is the best on that basis? So, you have my answer. I'm very curious to hear yours. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you all later.